can't.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Einstein. Oh, you're a good doggy. Who's the best of the Einsteins? I love the Einsteins.
Martin, what's wrong? Your report card. Hi, baby.
Barbara, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Doctor says it's serious.
All of us, whether we have been through the Napa fires and been affected by it or not, have traumas from childhood all the way through adulthood. I'm Marty Nemko, and this is The Nemkos Do.
And I'm Barbara Nemko, Napa County Superintendent of Schools. And we're going to show you how we would react to these kinds of situations.
Hopefully to be able to be of some help to you. There's no pat answers, no TV show is going to have the magic pat answers, but hopefully something of value. So let's take that first situation. Kid comes home, bad report card.
I suspect you've had some experience with that.
Well, especially in the behavior department.
Wait,
without
you were a little boy.
Without any question. So, okay, big soup D of schools. What would you do in that situation if I'm your son and I come home with a bad report, maybe even an unexpectedly bad report card, maybe just a single grade, maybe it's the whole darn report card?
Well, the first thing I would do is try not to freak out. The tendency is, oh my God, what happened? You're on lockdown for a month. You can't watch television. You can't. All probably the wrong thing to do. What we don't want to do is make the child immediately defensive. And anything that you say in that kind of shocked and negative way is only going to cause your child to try to make up excuses and potentially lies about what's going on. Teacher hates me. It's not fair, the usual kinds of excuses that kids will give you. So what I would want to say is, you look like you're really unhappy about this, and then stop and see what I can draw out from the child, because there are many potential reasons why this happened.
If the kids, if I were the kid, my reaction, I would say, of course I'm unhappy. That's stupid. Of course I'm unhappy. Stupid teacher. I didn't deserve that, maybe the C, but I didn't deserve no D or no F.
And why do you think that's what she put on your report card?
She doesn't like boys, she likes girls.
And all the boys got Ds?
I don't know.
Why don't you
I
tell
want
me
to play with
what
Einstein.
Why don't you tell me what you really think is going on?
I hate school. I hate sitting still all day. Hard. I hate math. I hate math. Why do I need to go to school? I don't want to go to school anymore.
Anything else you want to tell me?
No.
So you're unhappy in school because of sitting still for too long? Is that the biggest problem?
And it's hard, yeah. And those kids, I'm not in the in crowd. The kids they all talk with each other. They like each other. I'm kind of always by myself. I hate school. I hate school. I want to rip up that report card.
Well, I don't blame you for feeling that way. It sounds like there are a lot of things going on all at the same time. And one of them is that the work is too hard. One of them is that sitting still for so long is too hard. And one of them is that you're having trouble with the other kids and you're feeling left out.
Fine, so now what?
Well, which one do you think would be the easiest one to fix?
I need to change my teacher. I hate her.
Probably that's not going to be something that we can do. But if the work is too hard, what do you think we can do about that? You're a smart boy. You're more than capable of doing the math work.
I hate doing homework. I don't want a tutor. You got me a tutor last year. I hate it. I want to play basketball. I want to play with Einstein. I want to play with Einstein. That's what I want to do. I want to play with Einstein. Okay, we try to create a very realistic situation. No pat answers.
There are no pat answers.
Right. Okay. So
Well, I think the first thing is you want to tease out what is going on for the child, because there are different causes. If this is a sudden new one-time thing, it could be because suddenly they've hit a plateau with the work and they do need some extra help. And we can figure out how we're going to get that extra help. But that's different from the report cards have always been bad and now it's just a little bit worse. It could be that the child has had some kind of a big falling out with a friend and is not even tuning into the math work in school.
what do you do if the kid really, I mean, there are a lot of kids for whom school really is a poor fit. And it wasn't random. I mean, active boys have a hard time sitting still. And the standards are ratcheted up. And it is hard, not only sitting still, but it's hard. And they may not be popular, especially if they are a hyperactive boy. People don't like hyperactive. And so we've got a kid who has legitimate reason to hate school. And of course, he's going to, maybe of course, but he might displace it on the teacher. But he recognizes that he's the problem. What would you tell parents in this very, I don't expect you to have a pat answer, but what would you honestly tell a parent in that situation to do?
Well, I would say a conversation with the teacher is always important. And let's try to talk about what are the things that are troubling my child and how can we work together to make it better for him.
What do you think
so
about
you
that?
can't sit still.
Yeah.
And if you can't sit still, what avenues are there within the school day, within the classroom, to give you and other boys like you more opportunities to move around? And maybe girls, whoever is having the problem.
Right.
But how can we make the classroom more suitable for your need to move? And let's look at that. Do we need to make you monitor where you have things to pass out and collect? Do we need to try to interest you in more active activities at gym so you're really at recess working out some of this excess energy?
In the global sense, though, I'm wondering what you think of this. I would tell my kid, I said, you know, truthfully, not everybody's going to be great in school, and that doesn't invalidate your worth as a human being. You make reasonable, I'm not even asking you to kill yourself, I'm asking you to make moderate effort. You got to learn to read. You got to be able to have some number skills. You got to have some social skills. Take it a baby step at a time. I'll love you no matter what. Let's see if we can make little bits of progress and find the good. You know, you do like PE, great, look forward to that. You like your friend Jamie, see if you will invite her over to the house. You're pretty good at reading. Maybe we can find something good to read that's not going to bore the pants off of you. So we can take baby steps. What do you think of that approach?
Well, it's always great when you can reassure your child that I will always love you, no matter what. I'm not sure I would start immediately by saying, well, not everybody's good at school, so maybe you're not. That's why it depends on what you already know about your child. In your case, you're a smart kid. So the notion that you don't have to do well in school or you may not do well in school, when you're already
What if I'm
smart.
not a smart kid? Not every kid is.
That's what we're going to find out.
You know, as somebody says, only half people are above average, half are below. What if my kid is, heaven forbid, at the 20th percentile?
In that case, we're going to talk about not everybody is going to be good in every subject, but we still need to make an effort. And there's still a lot that you can learn because, remember, you may not understand it, but you may not understand it yet. That doesn't mean that you won't, and it doesn't mean that you can't learn it. And I would point to examples in my life of things I thought I couldn't do, but it was just that I hadn't worked hard enough at it. For example, as you know, my son, tap dancing. I wanted to learn how to tap dance. I took the class multiple times.
Absolute truth.
Absolute truth. And we've been working very hard in Napa County on math because it is a problem for a lot of kids. And we've had Jo Bowler, who is a professor at Stanford University, come in and talk to many of our teachers. And she talks about in her book growth mindset. And that is, if you have a mindset that you can do something rather than a mindset that I'm not good at this, then it opens you to learning more than you would when you close your mind because you're not good at it. So I listened to her, and I enrolled in tap dancing yet again, and I said, I really want to learn how to do a simple time step. I've taken a beginning class several times.
Can you do it now?
No, I can't do it now. I'm not wearing tap shoes. We don't do it on carpet, and I don't think I'm ready for prime time. But walking into it with that, I can't do it yet. I put on a YouTube video, and being able to watch it on YouTube again and again and again, as slowly as I wanted and as many times as I wanted, guess what? I can do a simple time step. And I think for kids, you have so many resources. Digital. They don't have to be what's going on necessarily in school, but at home, child can go to Khan Academy and look at some of those things there. I would ask the teacher, what can my child do at home that he can look at as many times as he needs, and remind him that he can do it, he just doesn't have it yet.
You're watching the Nemco's Do here on Channel 28 in Napa, and we're talking about trauma and dealing with trauma, and we figured it would make sense to start with an education one. A kid who was troubled at school, and certainly became trauma. It was a bad report card, since Barbara's superintendent of schools. But now we're going to switch to a different kind of trauma that is more serious. We started the show by doing the brief role play about you came home, and you're now my wife, as we are, she is in real life, with a bad cancer diagnosis.
Well, bad diagnosis.
A bad diagnosis. Let's make it concrete, though, so we can have a conversation. So now we'll try to role play that a little bit. And you just walked in, and I say, what's wrong? And you say,
doctor says it's cancer.
You know how bad?
Not yet. I have to go in next week for some tests and a biopsy, but he says it looks like it may be advanced.
And it could be, you know, whenever you get a bad diagnosis, there are medical errors. We need to get a great second opinion, an independent second opinion, not somebody referred by the doctor, because they tend to be supportive of each other, but some great thing. And I think, you know, whatever money we've saved up at this critical point when we're trying to get a diagnosis right, we're not going to try to save. Hopefully insurance will cover it, but if I have to supplement, let's, you know, I think UCSF is supposed to be a world leader in cancer. We're going to find the best damn quick. Well, what kind of cancer?
Breast cancer.
Did he say which kind? There's lots of kinds.
I don't think he'll know until the biopsy.
Got it. All right, we're going to wait till the biopsy comes in. This is not a death sentence. He says it may be advanced. We're going to work through this baby step at a time. Like in everything else in life, baby steps. I want you to know that I love you no matter what, and I'll be there at your side. We're going to do the best we can. How are you feeling?
I would feel a little bit better. I think the first thing that you have to deal with...
No, I'll stay in the role a bit. I'm asking you, how are you feeling? You're this person.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
What can I do to be of support?
I think we need to do a lot of research. I want to read everything I can, and I want to look at some of the new treatments that they're doing. I keep reading about special gene therapy that they're able to do.
Right.
And it seems as if they're making breakthroughs every minute about how to specifically target an individual's disease. I also want to find out what hospitals are using that new kind of gene therapy. And I want to be reminded, I would want you to remind me of all the people I know who've had breast cancer and who have beaten it and are fine 5 and 10 and 15 years later, because we know so many of them. So I think hope is always essential, to think about what is out there to save your life. The second thing is to make a plan, because if you can work through a to-do list, it makes you feel that you're in control. The most frightening thing about getting a diagnosis like that is you feel totally out of control. You feel like something has just happened to you, kind of like an earthquake. It came out of nowhere, you didn't expect it, and you really don't know where to turn. What's even the first thing to do? So by developing a plan, it makes you feel like Yeah, okay, I got this.
This show is about trauma, so let's make it really hard. Let's say it is, all the tests come back, and you get a second opinion, it's all the same, you have stage 4 cancer. You're going to be dying. That's the ultimate trauma, pretty much. What? Do you want me to take a shot at role-playing with you about that, or do you want to comment about that? What do you want to do?
Well, I think we all know at some point we are all going to die. That's one of the sad things about the human condition. We know it's not permanent. For me, what I would do is look realistically at how long I will feel well. Mm-hmm. How long do they anticipate that I can still do the things I'm doing? So if I have 6 months, what is my bucket list? What do I want to do in the next 6 months that will make me as happy as I can be?
What would be on your 6-month bucket list?
I would probably want to be in contact with all the people I care about.
And tap dance for them?
Probably not, but I think I would still take tap dancing when I'm home. I think I'd probably be traveling because all the people that I care about are not all located in one place.
So it wouldn't be to travel to some exotic place, it would be to travel to see your people?
Probably more to see people, but also maybe to go with some of those people to some place, to go to the beach in Hawaii, or to go on a cruise, or do all the things.
We need to do that, baby, while we're still healthy. We need to go on the beach to Hawaii. We really need to do that again.
This is true.
Okay.
And that does, when you even think about this topic, it does remind you that, yeah, we need to live every day, particularly you get past 50 or 60 and you're thinking, you never know.
Well, you're not a religious person, so how would you deal? It's all, again, and it's great. Hope is critical. Having a to-do list and control is critical. Having baby steps is critical.
And having fun plans is critical.
By suppressing, beyond, the end's not, sometimes you're lucky and you can take some good drugs and you go out in your sleep or whatever. But you can't think about that very much. What would you, as a not religious person, how would you psychologically make peace with the end, and what role would hospice or palliative care play in this for you?
My peace with it would be, I won't know. And
you won't know when you're dead. In other words,
that's
like before you were born, you weren't aware.
I won't know.
Okay.
We're very fortunate in this state that we can do assisted suicide when you're at the end.
The Death with Dignity Act.
So that thank you, Lois Wolk, for passing that legislation.
Very important.
And for me, it would be knowing that I don't have to be in pain. I do not want to be in pain. And when there's no longer any drug that can relieve that pain, I can take care of that.
Dear viewers, please, I know it's not a fun topic. Everybody should have a will and an advance medical directive to say exactly how much you're willing to take in terms of pain, experimental treatments, what you want. Do you want to be intubated when there's no chance of, a tube down your throat? What do you want? I know it's yucky. I hate it too. There's also, you don't need a lot of money. There are free advanced medical directives. There's also something called the 5 Wishes, which you can Google and get some very specific advice about how to do that. That's the ultimate trauma. So, and
the one everyone will face. Not everybody is going to have a child with a bad report card.
Right. Anything else that you want to say about how to deal with the worst, that's the worst trauma that you, or let's say it was me and I was dying. It's not easy for the spouse either. Let's say I told you I had stage 4 cancer and I had 6 months to live. Really, let's try it. It's really hard to be really honest, but what exactly would you feel? What exactly would you do?
I would be terrified.
Why terrified? That's an interesting word.
Because I think I would deal with it better than you would.
Definitely.
For me, if it were me, then you will when it's you.
Definitely.
And so I'd be really frightened for how you would be feeling and how you would deal with it.
Right. I
would want to know from you. I would not want to impose my way of dealing with it, which is happy. Let's do all the happy things. I would have to find out from you what you would want and what you would want from me.
That'll provide a different perspective. I would want to tell nobody. I would want to work. I love my work. It's not a compulsion to make money at all, or it's just, for me, whatever, I feel like my place on this earth has been to be productive, so I'd write faster. I'd write more, I'd see more clients while I could.
So basically nothing would change?
I'd eat more while I could. I love to eat. It's one of my few plans. And I play with Einstein. And I'd see movies in our cocoon. We'd watch lots of great movies on our TV. Very simple things. I'd go out. You've wanted to take me to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, which we're going to go to your birthday.
That would be it, huh?
Yeah, it would be like a real,
Okay.
a really. I'm a cheapskate. I wouldn't normally do it, but I would probably if I was going out.
So we go to fancy restaurants.
Occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would absolutely want palliative care, hospice care. I would not, I teach in the medical school at UCSF, and I see that there are some patients who really won't accept the end, and they torture themselves with these, quote, really low probability of success treatments, round 4 of chemotherapy or whatever, when it really doesn't have much chance, and that whatever time they have left is tortured. I would work on acceptance, pain control, fun, and I would not be the guy, unless I really felt I could make a contribution to society with this really valuable experimental treatment, unless I felt it was a really good shot, I would not do the extra round of chemotherapy or whatever.
Well, after multiple opinions, that it
Absolutely.
doesn't have a good chance of doing anything for you except making you sick.
Okay, let us turn. You're watching the Nemco's Do. We're talking about traumas. Not the most fun topic. By the way, in the next month, we do a show every month. We're going to be talking about how to help your child choose a career. A lot more fun. But let's take one more topic on traumas of a different kind. Back to children, because again, you're the superintendent of schools, and I know something about kids. One of the more traumatic things that children have is when the parents are fighting and divorcing. Any thoughts about if we would, again, it's always best if we try to, instead of talking the third person, what we would actually do. Instead of this being Einstein here, we have our daughter, Amy, and let's say Amy was 12. Let's pick a nice middle growing up age. And we decided to divorce. What would you say to Amy?
I would say that you know that we both love you very much. But sometimes when people get married, after a while, it's just not working well for them. And they're not happy with each other being married. Doesn't mean we don't care about each other. Doesn't mean we don't even like each other. It just doesn't work for us being married. And we think it would be better so that we're not fighting all the time if we were living separately.
Mommy, I love you both. I don't want you to break up. I want mommy and daddy.
And you will always have mommy and daddy. And
I want dinners together. We go on trips together. I don't want you to get divorced. That was my fault. Yeah, I'll be better. I promise I'll be better.
And children do tend to think that, and so both parents obviously are going to reassure the child, has nothing to do with you. We both love you. You are a wonderful child. And that's not going to change.
You told me I was bad. I had a bad report card. I was bullying another kid, and then I didn't do my homework. You always criticizing me.
Now we're kind of...
Is that not right? I mean, I would think that because the kids don't feel that they don't accept that it isn't you, that you're wonderful, because they do remember the criticisms their parents gave. I could see. I'm trying to be real. I think that's what a kid would say, or could say at least.
I suppose a kid could. I would say, well, obviously all of us do some things that need improvement. That doesn't mean that we don't love you, and it doesn't mean that we're not always going to be there for you. And certainly, whatever behaviors you were doing had nothing to do with what Daddy and I are talking about.
Who am I going to live with?
Well, we'll talk about that. You'll have lots of input into that, and probably you'll spend time with both of us. And you can, let's talk about whether it's better to spend half time with each of us or most of the time in one place.
I like my school.
Good, we're not going to change your school.
I like on the weekends seeing my friends. Absolutely,
and you'll still be able to do that. In many ways, your life won't change all that much.
Can you fix it? Can you not maybe divorce? Can you fix it? Can you? I hear couples got marriage counseling.
And we've tried that, sweetheart. We have. And if there was a way to make it work, we would do that. But it isn't working really well. And so we think then this is a grown-up decision, and sometimes grown-up decisions don't make the children happy, and we know that, and we're going to do everything we can to make this as easy and non-threatening for you as we can.
Maybe later? Maybe is it possible that maybe you'll take a break and then you'll be back together again?
Probably not, but I wouldn't be hoping for that. But I think that maybe later when we're not living together and we're not getting on each other's nerves all the time, we'll get along better. And that may even be better for you.
I guess I was scared to hear you and Daddy yelling all the time.
Of course you are. That's not a comfortable way for any of us to live.
I'm never going to get married.
Well, that's an option. And you'll see how you feel. I don't think that's a decision you want to make at age 12. But for right now, you don't have to. Feel better? It's going to be okay. It really will.
Wasn't bad. Okay, what were the undergirding principles? I mean, again, there are no easy answers to these things. I tried to be the real kid who's got these questions. What, if anything, do you want the audience to remember about dealing with having a child where there's divorcing or simply fighting a lot? What's the big takeaways?
That the child didn't cause it, that you will do everything you can to cushion the changes that will occur in the child's life. You will try to keep as much normality in the life as possible. So it's one thing to get divorced. That's very high on the stress scale. If you then move and the child has to go to a different school, that adds a whole other layer. So if the child can stay in the same place, stay in the same house, stay in the same school, it's going to make it a whole lot easier. And if the child has input into what the living situation is going to be, and if they prefer to go back and forth between both places, or they want to have primarily one place and visit the other, and then what things they want to take to the new place that they're going to visit, so they can choose their bedspread, their room. So again, feeling in control is important, and when you're getting divorced, your child feels he does not have any control.
Here's the reality, though. When couples are fighting, they use the kids as a pawn. Especially if one parent loves the kid and wants custody or whatever, they can either fight in the courts for it or use the kid as a to take their side.
And so that'd be the number one thing I would tell parents: do not use your child as the pawn.
Okay. Well, this was a tough show for us. It was the Nemkos do trauma. But especially in light of the fire, I thought it was an appropriate topic to do, because our traumas in our lives are not just the fire. Thank God that that's over. Some people still are suffering, of course, greatly from it. More important, next show, in the next month, we will be talking about a much more upbeat topic, how you as parents or teachers can help a kid, whatever age, in choosing a career. Until then, I'm Marty Nemko.
And I'm Barbara Nemko, saying hope you don't have many traumas in your life.
Really, indeed. And that's Einstein Nemko.